David here with Figboot on pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have for you a pen from a brand I have not reviewed in a while, a bit over 5 years, and that is Waldmann. I have one of their latest releases in their Tango Imagination series, and that would be the Olea. What I am going to do today is go over the parts and features of this limited edition offering, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, some size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Luxury Brands, the U.S. distributors for Waldmann, as well as several other brands, for providing this pen on loan for review. If you are not familiar with the Waldmann brand, it was founded back in 1918 in the Black Forest region of Germany. At first, the company produced high-end mechanical pencils made from precious materials such as gold and silver, and there they eventually moved on to creating fountain pens, again with an emphasis on using metals like brass, gold, and silver. In 1972, the company began producing one of their most well-known pens, the 2-in-1, which had a push-action ballpoint pen on one end and a fountain pen on the other, which is an interesting concept. And the 2-in-1 is still produced today. But it is a different model I'll be sharing with you today. The pen arrives in this box. I do like it when the exterior boxes have this little flap in the front to make it easier to access the box inside. And then we have this nice box with a nice little metal portion here in the front. And inside the box, we have a few things. We have a warranty card. This actually comes with a 10-year warranty, which is pretty amazing. I don't recall seeing a warranty period that lengthy before. There is a card with a QR code to an online use and care guide. There are 6 Waldmann branded ink cartridges. There is a polishing cloth. And then finally, there is a little card right here that states this high-end writing instrument has a cap with a screw system. Please do not pull the cap. And that it sounds like someone in the Waldmann warranty department is tired of people jacking up their pens right out of the box. And this is actually some good advice, though. If you are ever handed an unfamiliar pen, you should always attempt to twist the cap first rather than pulling on it. If you pull a twist cap, you could potentially damage it. If you twist a pull cap, then it'll just twist and not cause any damage. So it's a good practice to follow. Okay, let me set this stuff aside. And here we have the pen. This is the Waldmann Tango Imagination Olea. Tango Imagination is the name of the model, and Olea is the name of the variation. Olea means olive in Latin, and the exterior lacquer on this pen is appropriately enough olive in color. The Tango Imagination is available in a number of other colors. There is aquamarine, burgundy, lavender, and white, just to name a few. There are a couple others as well. The barrel and cap are made from sterling silver, and the trim is steel. The sterling silver is plated in rose gold and then an olive lacquer. And then a clear lacquer is applied to protect the exterior of the pen, which is covered in a guilloche pattern. And I think the choice of going with the rose gold is a good one for the trim of this pen. I feel that the rose gold and olive colors play nicely together. And I think that this guilloche patterning is pretty cool. Okay, let's take a look at the parts and features of this pen. As you can see, it is rather thin. It almost reminds me of something you would keep in your checkbook back when we had to carry around checkbooks. The top of the cap is flat and transitions into a bit of a swale. Then we have the clip. At the top, it is adorned with the Waldmann logo. The clip has a decent amount of flex to it and easily accommodates materials of varying thicknesses. The cap is straight. Here at the top, it is engraved with 925, indicating the presence of sterling silver. At the end of the cap, there is a medium-sized band. On one side, it is engraved with the Waldmann logo, and on the other side, made in Germany, as well as the limited edition number of this pen. There are only 100 pieces created exclusively for the North American market. The band is recessed slightly, and the transition from the cap to the barrel is fairly smooth. The barrel is straight for about 1.5 inches before tapering down, and at the very end there is another rose gold plated punctuation. The cap twists off with a single rotation, and underneath we have a stainless steel number 5 nib. The nib is stamped with the Waldmann logo, as well as 1918, which is the year the company was founded. This nib is available in extra fine, fine, medium, and broad. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges, and a converter is provided. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section begins with a flare and is metal. It angles up until you reach the metal threads and a medium-sized step up to the remainder of the barrel. The section is rather slim, but size appropriate for this rather slim pen. The section is also rather slick, which is not my favorite, but since I tend to grip my pens closer to the end, then that flare does an okay job of helping me maintain a decent grip. But I do find myself having to re-grip the pen as it moves around in my hand just a little bit. If you tend to grip your sections a bit further back, then you might find it to be a little bit awkwardly slick. This pen is plenty long enough to use unposted. The cap does post. It doesn't post especially deep, so with it being made from silver and having a bit of heft, I do find that posting backweights the pen a bit, enough for me to prefer to use this pen unposted. The Waldmann Tango Imagination Olea is available at a large number of retailers and sells for $400. That's a bit on the higher side, especially for a steel nib, but with this particular pen, I feel the value is more in the materials and the exterior guilloche treatment. You'll see in the writing sample, the nib writes very, very well. Well enough that it doesn't really make me miss this pen not having a gold nib, but it's right there on the precipice of a price point where you expect a gold nib. There's other variations of the Tango Imagination which do come with a gold nib, and those are priced in like the $500 range. Thanks again go out to Luxury Brands for providing this pen on loan. Now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. So here we have some size comparisons for the Waldmann Tango Imagination Olea. I wanted to give you another close-up look at that guilloche work. I think that it really shows off best when you have some light on it and see it rotate around. I just think it's a really nice, well-done application. In regard to some other fairly thin pens, here we have something from Graf von Faber-Castell, which is the Anello Rose Gold. Then here we have a pen from Parker. This is the Parker Ingenuity. And then here we have something from Franklis Christoph, and this is a Model 66. In regard to some other somewhat larger pens, we have a Pilot Custom 823. Then we have a Visconti Defina, and this is in the Desert Springs material, which I really liked. And then finally, we have something I recently reviewed, which is the Mythic Pen Company VS3, which really resembles a Parker Duofold Centennial Big Red. But I'm a big fan of that pen, and that's what it looks like in comparison to the Waldmann. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, here it is with the 823 and the Parker Ingenuity. And then finally, the Graf von Faber-Castell Anello Rose Gold. Okay, here we go with the writing sample for the Waldmann. Two ends there. And this is the Tango Imagination. And this model is the Olea. And the ink, I thought since this was an olive pen, we needed to use an olive ink. And so we are using Pelikan, Edelstein, Olivine. This is what the ink looks like. It's kind of a deeper olive color. This is what it looks like into something like Monarcha Manglar, which is a little bit on the lighter side. And then here it is with Lamy Petrol, which is a little bit more on the bluer side of blue-green. These are what the Edelstein bottles look like. I think they look really nice. I wish they weren't quite as shallow, but I always did like the looks of these bottles. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. As I mentioned, this is a very pleasant nib, and that it doesn't make me wish that this had a gold nib on it. You're not going to get a lot of flexibility out of here, and I'd say the ink flow is on the generous side. In regard to reverse writing, you can see that's not necessarily what this nib is made for, but then in regard to some fast writing, the feed keeps up very well. So there we have the Waldmann Tango Imagination Olea. If you're into thinner pens with interesting applications on them, then this is something that you should definitely take a look at. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.